There'd be no climate crisis if it wasn't for racism.
Boom! Jane Fonda with a hot take. There'd be no climate crisis if it wasn't for racism. And also she calls for all white men to be jailed. Great. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, highlight woke absurdities. We got one today for sure, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom lovers. Today, we've got referencing an article on the Gateway Pundit, Jane Fonda. Remember her? I actually don't know any movies she's in. I'm sure she's in some, but she's a great example of why you should strive to have your children emulate people in Hollywood. I mean, she is, I didn't know she was a scientist, but she clearly is. Jane Fonda blames white men for climate crisis and calls for them to be arrested and jailed. Sounds rational, doesn't it? So that you and I can increase our scientific knowledge, learn more about the climate crisis. First off, definitely please be afraid of it. But also, we want to understand the scientific basis for why racism is causing the climate crisis. And of course, why white men should be arrested and jailed so we have no more racism, so that we can have no more climate crisis. What's the carbon emissions of racism? 7. So let's hear what Mrs. Fonda has to say.
Because you're pretty active even after they.
Well, you know, you can.
By the way, she's probably a good person, and she probably has intelligence in her head. So forgive me, but I just love pointing out how stupid people can be. She says white men should be arrested and jailed because they're causing the climate crisis. She is wearing the jersey of a white male. It's Tom Brady's jersey, like this absolute lunatic. Dude, white men are just the worst thing in the world. Lady, you're wearing the jersey of a white man. I'll keep the jersey on because I like Tom Brady. Let's go on, Jane. I already like you.
Take anything, sexism, racism, misogyny, homophobia, whatever, the war, and if you really get into it and study it and learn about it and the history of it and everything's connected. There'd be no climate crisis if it wasn't for racism.
That was the explanation. She just said it. like here's this conclusion. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, but to help you understand it, I won't explain why I think that's true. I'll give no rationalization. I'll just say the thing. Here's the conclusion. It's a destination, not a journey. That's what life's all about. So here's my irrational conclusion. And just by me stating it, I'll pretend that explains it. Dude, these other people, they're either, I don't know what they're thinking, but they're probably like, Jane, are you off your meds? But we're on TV. This is the Kelly Clarkson show. I don't know what that's about. It's probably like The View. They're probably like, dude, we have to pretend like we agree with you. But lady, and I love that Tom Brady jersey. I too am wearing the jersey of a white man.
How do you get to that? Tell me.
Okay, so this lady asked Jane Fonda, how do you get to that conclusion that there would be no climate crisis without racism? Cool, that's a great question. I'm wondering that myself. And I'm sure Jane will really explain it in scientific terminology.
Where would they put the
I think she said the S word. So where would they put the poop? Let's see.
Where would they put the poison and the pollution? They're not going to put it in Bel Air. They've got to find some place where poor people or indigenous people or people of color are living. Put it there. They can't fight back. And that's why a big part of the climate movement now has to do with climate justice.
Big part of the climate movement has to do with climate justice. Could you just please make everything about race? The way to end racism is making everything about race. Clearly, it makes a lot of sense. It's just like with the thing you don't want, if you could make everything else about the thing you don't want, that'll make the thing you don't want go away. Once we make everything about race, we'll have no more racism because everything is racist. And then the climate crisis will no longer be a crisis. Jane, it's already not a crisis. Wake up. So anyway, Jane Fonda, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully she can laugh at herself half as much as I am laughing at her. I am not laughing with her. I am laughing at her. Idiocracy needs to be ridiculed. You don't got to ridicule the actual person. That's fine. They probably have good intentions at some level, even though they're not using their brain. I don't want to make fun of people, ridicule people, but idiocracy, the thoughts that come out, differentiating someone is not their thoughts. They are them. Here are their thoughts. Cool. The thoughts need to be ridiculed because that's how truth continues to shine through. The only cure for bad speech is better speech. And bad speech, inaccurate thoughts that are based on lies, hypocrisy, corruption, propaganda. Jane, you got a little bit of an infection there, lady. Speaking truth is the cure for that. More truthful speech is better speech. That's why inaccurate speech, it needs to be ridiculed. Don't ridicule the person, ridicule the speech. Now, I think I probably ridiculed Jane. Forgive me, I got a little sloppy while trying to ridicule the idea. Forgive me, I don't have a science degree, that's why I don't understand it. But ridiculing the idea that racism is causing climate crisis. Okay, great. So in summary, if we listen to Jane Fonda, all we have to do is make everything about race, which makes everything racist, and then we'll have no more racism. And once we make everything about race, we have no more racism, then we have no more climate change because of science. Sit with that. Follow the science, don't deny it, don't ask questions. Not very scientific. Thank you for watching with me, my friend. Hopefully you've had some laughs. I mean, at least half as many as I did. I loved this story. I truly did. I look forward to seeing you on our next video, but before we go, I want to tell you about Bioptimizers and Sleep Breakthrough. I want to talk to you, my friend. When I'm stressed or anxious or I've been in hyperproductivity mode all day, I find it hard to fall asleep. My mind and thoughts are racing about what I did that day, what I've got to do tomorrow. And for me, it can lead to a little bit of a vicious cycle of sleep deprivation, which has me feeling not very good. And to use scientific terminology, it sucks. But once I started using Sleep Breakthrough by Bioptimizers, I find I was getting to sleep quicker, getting better quality of sleep, and waking up the next day with more energy. I personally view sleep as the foundation for success in terms of feeling and functioning my best, but also being productive and on purpose. And I don't like it when problems get in the way of my success, and Sleep Breakthrough has helped remove those problems. Sleep Breakthrough is a delicious all-natural formula that gives your body the precursor molecules it needs to make melatonin, which is cool because it helps you sleep really well and you don't wake up the next day with a sleep hangover. If you're someone who struggles with sleep or you just want to optimize your sleep so you can get the absolute most out of it to help support your success, then check out Sleep Breakthrough at sleepbreakthrough.com/JPReacts. And at checkout, use the code JPReacts10 to unlock special gifts with your purchase. This is a limited time offer on select orders, so go to sleepbreakthrough.com/JPReacts now. Enjoy.